Marcus Hill walked through the sterile, echoing corridors of St. Elridge Hospital, clutching a thin folder of crumpled papers. His mother's lab results were clear, a life-threatening condition, but he knew he wouldn't be treated seriously. Not here. Not with Dr. Vincent Langford. Dr. Langford, with his sharp navy suit beneath a pristine white coat, looked more like a celebrity than a doctor. He had the power of the hospital at his fingertips, a man accustomed to being obeyed. But Marcus was poor, a young janitor barely scraping by, working late nights to pay rent, living in a small, worn-down apartment across town. To Dr. Langford, Marcus was invisible. "Next," Langford snapped without looking up from his phone, the tone dripping with disdain. Marcus stepped forward, voice quivering. "Doctor, please, my mother's condition, it's urgent. She can't afford treatment anywhere else, and her pain is—" Langford cut him off, glancing briefly at the file. "I don't have time for sob stories. Tell her to come back when she's insured or at least has something worth my attention." He waved Marcus away like a bothersome fly. Marcus stumbled backward, swallowing the burning lump in his throat. People passed him in the hallway, nurses, staff. Some sympathetic, most too busy, too afraid, or too indifferent to intervene. That night, Marcus cleaned floors and emptied trash bins, wiping his tears onto his sleeve. The injustice of the day gnawed at him. How could a man with so much power treat life so carelessly? Marcus whispered to himself, one day you'll see." The next day, news spread through the hospital like wildfire. Dr. Langford had humiliated another patient. Nurses whispered, doctors avoided eye contact, and Marcus, working silently in the shadows, felt both a pang of vindication and a swell of despair. By evening, Marcus overheard Langford boasting to a group of wealthy donors. "I run this place. I decide who deserves care, who doesn't," he said, laughing, his arrogance echoing against the marble walls. "Some people are just not worth saving." That phrase hit Marcus like a punch. He knew he had no influence, no money, no power, but he had patience and determination. That night, as he scrubbed the floor tiles in room 312, Marcus began to hatch a plan. He recalled the countless late nights spent cleaning offices and auditoriums, overhearing financial meetings, and observing the hospital's operations. Marcus knew the hospital's weaknesses better than anyone. Every overlooked ledger, forgotten filing cabinet, and corner office. All details he quietly memorized over months of unseen labor. By the time the moonlight filtered through the windows, Marcus Hill was no longer just a janitor. He was a strategist. Weeks later, Marcus received an envelope in the mail, unmarked and unassuming. Inside was a set of documents revealing a shocking truth. The original owner of St. Elridge Hospital, an elderly philanthropist who had quietly passed months ago, had left the majority of the hospital's shares to Marcus's family, his mother's name listed as primary beneficiary. Marcus sat in disbelief, trembling, staring at the papers. The same hospital that ignored his mother's cries of pain was now in his hands, legally and irrevocably. He didn't rush. He observed Dr. Langford, noting every habit, every arrogance-fueled decision. The doctor remained blissfully unaware, striding through the corridors, lording his self-perceived power over patients and staff alike. Marcus smiled quietly, imagining the eventual reckoning. It was a Thursday morning when Marcus finally revealed himself to the board. Dressed in a crisp suit, borrowed but commanding, he walked into the boardroom where Dr. Langford had gathered executives and department heads for the quarterly meeting. "Dr. Langford," Marcus began calmly, "I believe it's time we discuss the ownership of St. Elridge Hospital." Langford froze. Confused, he frowned. "I don't understand. You what?" Marcus held up the legal documents. "The hospital now belongs to my family. To be precise, to my mother, who you refused to treat properly. I am here to ensure justice is served." A stunned silence fell. Langford, who had mocked, humiliated, and belittled countless patients, realized the ground beneath him had shifted. Marcus's calm authority filled the room. Staff whispered, and some struggled to hide smiles. The doctor's empire of arrogance was collapsing. By the end of the week, Langford was reassigned to a modest clinic far from the hospital's opulent headquarters, stripped of his influence, forced to confront the consequences of his cruelty. Marcus walked the hospital halls as the new overseer, not with malice, but with purpose. Policies changed. Patients without wealth or connections were no longer ignored. Langford's arrogance became a cautionary tale, whispered in the staff lounge, a reminder that power is temporary and respect is earned, not assumed. Marcus visited his mother, now receiving proper care, her smile radiant, a healing balm for years of fear and neglect. He realized the most powerful form of revenge wasn't humiliation. It was justice, fairness, and compassion. And as he addressed the staff in a simple, profound meeting, he said, "Never underestimate those who seem invisible. You never know whose life you might touch, or whose power you might ignite." The hospital thrived, not because of one arrogant doctor, but because one underestimated janitor refused to be ignored, and in doing so changed everything. Power without compassion is temporary. True strength comes from justice, empathy, and patience. And just like that, Marcus Hill, the janitor who was once ignored, dismissed, and treated as invisible, rose to claim justice. Not with anger, but with patience, intelligence, and quiet determination. Dr. Vincent Langford's empire of arrogance crumbled, and the hospital finally became a place where every patient, no matter their wealth, could be treated with respect and care. It's a story of resilience, of standing tall even when the world underestimates you, and a powerful reminder: never let anyone make you feel invisible. Now, I want to hear from you. What would you have done if you were in Marcus's shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more real stories of struggle, triumph, and justice. Every story reminds us that power is temporary, but courage and integrity last forever.